Hi,
actually pretty good.
everybody. My name is Rita Crompton, and I am the president and CEO of Archimedes Offspring. We've been doing a series of videos on why Archimedes Offspring is your mentor and funding mechanism. But today we're going to take just a little bit of a side trip, talking about marketing. And people always ask me, how much should I budget for marketing? It's like, well, how much of a black hole do you have? Because marketing can literally be the most expensive, the most difficult part of the whole process if you're trying to be a startup. So let me explain a little bit. You go out the door, and if you're really watching your service providers and you're watching your dollars, you can do, 500 on a comprehensive search, up to 10 on getting a full utility filed. All right. That breaks down into a couple of different categories, but budget on that. If it's real detailed and there's lots of layers to it, it might be a little bit more, but that's a ballpark. Somebody who comes to me and I say, I spent $50,000 on my patent, and I'm thinking you should have had a different patent attorney. So that part of it. Then you've got the engineering, all right, the prototype stage, and you can get fairly close to budgeting those and putting a dollar amount to them. The black hole is really marketing. And when I get somebody who says, well, I spent, $20,000 on market research, they've got no skin in the game. They've got nothing to get. There's no accountability if the information is incorrect. And then you're getting information back maybe from a group of consumers. All right, not necessarily bad, but really expensive. Now some people want to do a focus group. And again, you've got 12, 15 people in the focus group, and so you've got 12, 15 opinions. Really not enough to go out the door on. I'll get people say, well, I'll put up a website and just sell off my website. You are not going to make any money doing that. You won't even get out of the hole you're in doing that because nobody knows they're there. All right, so now you do pay for clicks and you start paying for online marketing. Again, part of the black hole. It is going to eat you alive. First of all, it's a full-time job, and you need to keep your daytime job to pay for all of this. All right, so that marketing animal, and I hired somebody to do my social media. It's a full-time job. It's hard, and unless you really know what you're doing and you've got time to learn it, generally not. If you've got 5,000 units of something sitting in a warehouse you're waiting to sell. So you're throwing more money at it. And after you've already spent a lot of money, you're just throwing money at it. You're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? How am I going to get rid of these things? I've known people that ended up giving them away as Christmas gifts for the rest of their life. Not necessarily where you want to be. So what can you do? Right? Get teed up to go to a trade show, not a licensing trade show. All right, not an inventor trade show. You want a trade show that is for your industry. The licensing trade shows, the inventor trade shows, it's a feeding frenzy, and you are the main course. The majority of the people that are attendees are not buyers. All right, they are trying to sell you services. And when you have to pay, this is one of the things, it makes me crazy. It's like, oh, well, I met with so-and-so at this trade show. You paid to be there. All right, they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. You already paid them for their time. All right, they didn't give you anything for their time except the blah blah that you wanted to hear. Go to the trade show, pay for the booth. Right, that is where you get to talk to the potential buyers. All right, that is where you get to talk to people who represent other clients, the distributors. All right, when you talk to a store owner, all right, and they say, we've got people who would really like this. They are representing hundreds of people, not a dozen people. When you get a distributor that has got store owners who are their clientele, their buyers, the people that move the product for them, again, you've got somebody that is able to help move product. And if they're interested, they're going to want to know distributor pricing. That formula is working in their head from the time the first question comes out of their mouth. They say, you know what? $10 retail product, store bought it for $5. I bought it from you for $2.50. By golly, you better understand the multiple of 5, because you've got to be able to make it, package it, ship it, and insure it for $2. And that leaves you 50 cents to do all of your marketing with. And for most inventors, that is a deal breaker. All right. Not going to happen. And talk about profit. I want to hear people say, oh, I can do better than that. I'll raise the price. No, the consumer is God when it comes to the pricing that you're going to put on your product. That's it. If the consumer is not willing to pay for it because of the price you put on it, you are not going to sell any. You do not get to set the price. The market does. And there's nothing you can do about it. All right. If you can't tell the consumer how much they're going to pay for it, right? Not unless you're a pharmaceutical company or maybe a doctor. But even there, we shop around. People shop around, and they're not going to pay for a consumer gadget just because you said they should. So when I was talking to somebody this morning and they said, well, how do you price the product for sale on the shelf? Do you start with what I'm making it for? No, you start with what people would pay for it and you back into it. And if you can't make it at that price, don't go down the road. All right. If you don't know the barriers to entry for a product, don't go down the road yet. When I tell somebody that's got a pet product, did you know all of the shelf space in America is owned by 4 companies? And if you cannot get their attention, you aren't going to get into the store. They had no idea. Every industry has barriers to entry. Find out what they are before you're spending a lot of money. All right. Understand the cost of marketing and how you are going to get to a trade show and what it's going to cost you so that you don't have a heart attack when somebody says, oh, and that'll be $7,000. All right. Or you make the really bad financial mistake of paying for an ad in a magazine. You might as well just throw your money into the bonfire. I did a video not too long ago about protecting your most valuable asset is your intellectual property. I'm going to rephrase that. Protect your most valuable asset. It's your money. All right. Second is your intellectual property. I'm going to redo that one. Your money has got to be spread out over a long period of time and to protect those. So what do? All right. We're getting to the major point. Archimedes Offspring can be the answer to your problem. All right. $75,000 if you get through the vetting process successfully. All right. We are going to mentor you on the right steps. We're not going to let you throw money down into that black hole. And then we help you get teed up for the right trade show. So when we say that Archimedes Offspring is that mentoring, all right, funding mechanism, we're serious about that. It is the mentoring and funding mechanism. And this is why we've got investors we're protecting on one side, and by protecting you, we're protecting them. It is a wonderful hand-in-glove fit. And so we want to make sure you understand the value of using Archimedes Offspring. It's going to protect your most valuable asset, which is your money, and it's going to help you tee up your second most valuable asset, your intellectual property. It's also going to help you manage how that $75,000 that doesn't really belong to you, belongs to the investors, gets spent. And we are very frugal with the way things get spent because we're protecting both sides of the equation, the inventor and the investor. So take a look, all right? ArchimedesOffspring.com. Go in, take a look at both sides. What's needed on the inventor side, but what is being told to the investors so that you can share the link with your friends and family and anybody else that you know about the wonderful opportunity to help inventors, lots of inventors, get their products into the marketplace. After all, this is America. This is what we're all about, innovation. Join us. Archimedes Offspring. My name is Rita Crompton, President and CEO. Rita at Archimedes Offspring will drop you right into my email box. Thanks a lot, everybody.